our hints and tips for today is on lesson number 44, and the topic is on expanding brackets. The hint from this lesson topic is based on how we can expand brackets using the two different methods, or like for example there are different ways of how we can use when we are expanding terms using brackets. Okay, let's have a look at the chart now that I have on the whiteboard. To expand a bracket means to multiply each term in the bracket by the term outside the bracket. So this is what I have prepared using the pronumerals. A is outside the bracket, B plus C is inside the bracket. So the paragraph that I have up the top here is referring to the arrows here. Every term inside the bracket must be multiplied by the term or with the term outside the bracket. So A, as you can see, the arrow is pointing to B, and this is how it's supposed to be written: A times B, plus the operational sign here remains the same. We are now multiplying A and C, the second arrow, A times C. Your final answer would be AB plus AC. So you can see that A is common in the two terms here because we have multiplied B plus C with A, which is outside the bracket. Okay, let's have a look at this example here. All the measurements are given in centimeters. Okay, I've given a shape looking like what I have here, a rectangular shape. The shape is being divided into two parts. Okay, as you can see, the width, or we can say the length, from here to here the measurement is 2 centimeters. And from here to here, the measurement is 7 centimeters. That is the total distance from this end to this end. Okay, when it's being divided again, you will see now that from here to here it's 3 centimeters, and from here to here is 4 centimeters. Okay, first of all, just looking at the shape itself, if you are not given these two shapes here, you can just go straight in working out the total area of the shape. Imagine that there is no line in the middle, it's not being divided. So to find the area of a rectangle, the formula to use is area equals length times width. So we have 2 times 7, 2 times 7, the total distance is equal to 14 square centimeters. That is just normal calculation on how you can work out the area of a shape. Now we will move on to how it can be placed in brackets and how we can expand it. Okay, looking at the shape, it's the same old shape. Now that we have 2 is common for the two measurements that are up here. So looking at how it can be expanded out from the bracket, we have 2 times bracket 3 plus 4. So when we add these two distance, it gives us the total distance of 7. So when you are expanding 2 times, we bring it down and we add the two numbers inside the bracket, which gives us 7. When we multiply 2 times 7, we still come up with the same answer as what we have got from the first calculation. That is one way we can expand terms out from the bracket, meaning we are removing terms out from the brackets. We are trying to do away with the brackets, getting all the figures out from the bracket. So that is one way, another way of expanding bracket. Let's move on to the other one. Still we have the same diagram and we have the figures that are written. 2 times 3, that is area 1, and 2 times 4, that's for this second shape here. Look at how it can be written out. 2 is common for the two shapes. As you can see from within the shape itself, we have 2 times 3, that is for this first shape, and 2 times 4. So 2 is common, it's outside the bracket. 3 plus 4. 3 plus 4, the distance from here to here. We will try to now expand the brackets by multiplying 2 with each of the term inside the bracket, 3 and 4. So step number 2 for this method, 2 times 3 plus 2 times 4. 2 times 3 is 6 and 2 times 4 is 8. When we add these two, we still come up with the answer 14 square centimeters. Okay, that is one way. And the other method now here, the last one, we have 2 times 3 plus 4. Okay, now it's telling us that we are going to expand or multiply these terms inside the bracket twice because it is telling us from this number here, 2. So 2 times 3 plus 4. So this is how it should be written. You have bracket 3 plus 4 plus 3 plus 4. As in algebra, we collect the like terms. Leaving out the bracket, we have 3 plus another 3 here. These are like terms. Plus 4 plus 4. There are 2 3's and there are 2 4's. I repeat, there are 2 3's and there are 2 4's inside these two brackets here, the terms that are in the brackets. So once you have collected the like terms, this is how it should have been written. Having in mind you have 2 3's. So instead of writing 2 or 3 plus 3 again, you just simply multiply 2 times 3 because there are 2 3's plus 2 times 4 because there are 2 4's. And that's how you can expand numbers out from the brackets. So with that, teachers, I hope you have got the hint on how, or the different ways of how you can expand numbers out from the brackets. With that, thank you for watching these hints and tips. Hello receiving teachers, receiving students and 7's. Hello, Miss. How are you all today? We are very well, thank you. I am well, thank you. You may be seated. Okay, before we go on to our lesson topic for today, we have some recapping activities from your previous lessons that we are going to go through just to see if we can still remember what we have learned in those lessons. So up from the PowerPoint now, let's go through what we have gone through with Miss Irima. Okay, it's the same problem on how we can solve such problems in, or we can say worded problems, how we can read and understand word problems and then we try to solve them. So looking up now on the PowerPoint, the problem reads, Esau thinks of a number. He subtracts 3. The result is 12. What was the number he thought of? The unknown quantity is the number he started with. I know you have gone through this, but we have to go through it again.
Okay, when you see such problems like this, it's always best to read and try to understand and try to pick out the main parts of the problem. What is the problem asking you to work out? So here in this case, let's now have a look at what you should be doing or how you can solve this problem. Okay, as we all know, when we are given unknown letters, as in algebra, it can be any letters in the alphabet. So in this case, the unknown quantity or the unknown number, we can let that be n, as in the problem. So the first thing that we are to do is you construct an expression. So from the beginning it says he subtract 3. What is the unknown in this problem? What is the unknown letter in this problem? From the problem, okay, it says let that be n. So this is what you should have done. Remember, we are now trying to write out the expression. The unknown subtract 3. So you should have n minus 3 as your expression. From the start, you should have written your expression as n minus 3. Let's move on. After writing the expression, you are to form an equation. Here in this case, we already wrote the expression down, which is n minus 3. And the result is 12. Result comes after the equal sign. So this is, the equation should have looked something like what I have now. N minus 3 equals 12. 12 is the result. Now, we are going to solve this equation up here. Remember, n minus 3, the opposite of subtracting, what should we do? We add. What do we add? Okay, we are subtracting 3 from this side, the right-hand side. The same must apply on the left-hand side. So, solve the equation. The opposite of subtract is addition. So this is what we should have done in our working out. N minus 3 plus 3 equals 12 plus 3. These 3 cancels out and we are left with the unknown letter, which is n here, because we are trying to find the value of this n. So 12 plus 3, what would be our answer now? Okay, n is equal to 15. So if you try to substitute 15 into letter n and you subtract 3, are you going to come up with the answer as 12? Yes, if you try to confirm that n is your unknown letter or unknown number. So that is from your previous lesson. So remember, result comes after the equal sign. Here we are looking for the unknown as our answer, which is 15. So n is equals to 15 in this equation here, or n minus 3 equals 12. Okay, you also learned something on how to simplify algebraic equations. Here on the board I have just one. Write this expression as a product in simplest algebraic form without multiplication sign. 5 times bracket n minus 3 bracket. I know you went through this with Mr. Dumo. So can we try to write our equation leaving out the multiplication sign? how can you write that leaving out the multiplication sign? Quickly, I'll give you only 1 minute. It's only one. Who has finished? If you have been doing your activities, you should not find it very difficult. Okay, Shannon, can I ask you to quickly come up and write your working out on the board? How have you written or simplified that algebraic form without leaving or without the multiplication sign? You left out the multiplication sign. Quickly, I'd like you to come up and show your working out on the whiteboard. To the receiving teacher, you can select a student to come up the front also and show their working out on the blackboard. Okay, do we all agree with what our friend has written? Yes, but there's something missing. Remember, I only ask you to leave out the multiplication sign. Okay, Shannon is coming up to correct himself. We'll see if he's going to do the right thing here. Do we agree now? Yes. The expected answer that I expect from you, it should be 5 outside the bracket and minus 3. And then you have the bracket. So here it's telling us that we are going to multiply this number outside here with the numbers inside the, or the terms inside the bracket. So this is what I expected of you to have written in your book. 5 bracket and minus 3 bracket. Okay, just to refresh our mind back to what we have learned in our previous lessons. Okay, we will now move on to our lesson topic for today, expanding brackets. To the receiving teacher, we are now on lesson number 104. Okay, looking up on the PowerPoint, we have some important things that we are to follow when we are trying to solve algebraic expressions, especially when we are trying to expand brackets. So when brackets are removed from around a sum or difference, sum refers to addition, difference refers to subtraction. Then any factors outside the bracket must be multiplied by each term inside the bracket. That's what we must be doing when we are expanding brackets. We multiply the term inside the bracket with the term outside the bracket. But if we are adding or subtracting, it still remains the same within the equation itself. For example, to remove the brackets in this expression, a bracket n plus y bracket. What are we going to do here? 7 is. Can we have some answers from the first point? To the receiving teacher, you can ask your students if they can give you some answers how they can work that one out. Okay, you have the answers with you. You have exercise to do. We will continue. This is an expression that will help us try to work out how we can come up with the answer to that example. Okay, the third point, from that example, it is telling us that the factor a outside the bracket must be multiplied by both the n and the y inside the bracket, like this. A times n plus a times y. Your answer or your result, should be an, leaving out the multiplication sign, plus, because we are adding a y. Are we following 7Es and receiving students? Okay, it should be very easy when you go through this. Remember, the factor a is outside the bracket, must be multiplied by both the n and the y inside the brackets. And this is how it should have been worked out. That's expanding brackets. You are multiplying every term inside the bracket with the term outside the bracket. So you can see a is common in these two equations or these two expressions here. To expand an expression means to remove the brackets. During expansion, the factor a is distributed over the terms n and y, but it can be any alphabet or any letters of the alphabet. Here in this case, I'm using a, n, and y. You can use other letters also. There is no restriction. Okay, following the examples that we have gone through, we have this learning activity. A5 bracket n minus 3. I'd like you within your own group, try to expand this bracket. Remember, you multiply all the terms inside the bracket with the term outside the bracket. I'll give you 1 minute to go through that within your own group. Then we are going to go through it together. Following the example that we have gone through, here we are subtracting the expressions from within the brackets. You should be discussing that within your group, help each other. Which group have finished? Okay, Donald, can you quickly come up and show your working out on the whiteboard? You others check through. We are going to confirm his answer with what we have on the PowerPoint. Remember, you solve it right to the end where you will have your final answer. You others check your answers. Do we all agree with Donald's working out on the whiteboard? Did we have the same working out in our books? Yes or no? For those students who are still confused, the working out that we have on the board is the same as what I have on the PowerPoint. When you are expanding brackets, remember 5 times n minus 5 times 3. You are expanding all the numbers by multiplying the ones in the bracket with the term outside. So we are leaving out doing away with the brackets. 5 times n, we leave out the multiplication sign. We have 5n. Subtract 5 times 3 is 15. So that is how you should have expand that expression. Do we have the same working out comparing the two? Yes or no? Yes, this is how you should have worked out your answers to that, or how you can expand the brackets. You have another one again that you are going to work that in your group, and then we go on to our activities or our exercise. 5 bracket 2x minus 3 bracket. Quickly, 1 minute. Okay, put your hand up if you have finished. Okay, very good. Can we have a girl this time to come up and show her working out on the whiteboard? Okay, let's have Daisy. You others check your answers. It's only learning activities. We are trying to help each other, learning the steps and methods on how to expand brackets. So you check your answer. Later you'll continue with the exercises. Okay, let's check to see that Daisy has the same working out as to what we have on the PowerPoint. She has expanded that expression 5 times 2x minus 5 times 3. Do we have the same working out, the second step? 7 is, do we have the same working out? Yes. Your answer should be 10x minus 15. So this is what you should have worked out in your books. We will now move on to our exercises for our lesson. You have 3 in exercise 1. Expanding its brackets, I'd like us to show all working out to these expressions with your correct answers. A, 3 bracket x plus 2. B, 5 bracket y plus 1. bracket, C 8 bracket W plus 3. Okay, you are given 6 minutes for those 3 exercises, 2 minutes for each. But it should be very easy. You should have completed that before the actual time. I'll be coming around to check through your work to the receiving teacher. You can also do the same. Do emphasize on correct working out. Encourage students to show all their working out in their books. If you are finished and you would like me to check your work, to raise up your hand.
Write your 24 properly. This is too wide to me. That's good. I'm looking for 2 working out here. Check this again. 3 times x plus 2. Remember, we are multiplying all the terms inside with this separately. Addition separates that. This is correct. But how about this 2? So you check this again. Check this again. 3 times x plus. Check this again. Check this again. You check it again. You see, follow the rule. It says you are expanding x plus 2. Multiply all the term inside. Plus is separating that. So first thing, 3 times x plus 3 times 2. And then you have 3x plus
2,
3 times 2, that's 6. So I'm looking for these two working out. Okay. You are expanding. So the second step, you are multiplying. Remember, this one with this one with this. The addition sign separates the two. So you have 3 times x plus, what's my second one?
2 times 5.
Very good. Okay, that's the second step. 3 times x is 3x plus 3 times 2, 6. So this is what I'm looking for.
Okay, most students have finished. Okay, for those students who are finished, I'll be collecting your books too. Mark, you still have another one to go. I know your answers to complete this exercise. Exercise 2, you are to copy and complete these algebraic expressions by expanding them from the brackets. You have 2. 3 bracket 2a plus 4b, 4 bracket 5b plus 3 bracket. Expand those terms within the brackets with the one outside by multiplying. Do make sure to show all your working out clearly in your books. I'll give you 2 minutes to quickly complete those 2 exercises. If you don't complete this within the time given, you can complete that as homework. Okay, for those students who haven't finished, I'd like you to complete those for homework. For those who have finished, I'll be collecting your books for marking and also seeing where you needed help. I can assist you more on that. So to the receiving teacher, you can also do the same. Find time to go through these exercises by doing corrections so that our students can learn more from how to expand expressions in brackets. Okay, we'll now move on to our summary points for today. Okay, looking up now on the PowerPoint, to expand a bracket means to multiply each term in the bracket by the term outside the bracket. So have a look at what we meant by the paragraph that is up the top. A times B, you should have AB. A times C. Remember, we are adding, the additional sign is brought forward, and you should have your answer as AC, or the result when you're multiplying A and C, it should be AC. In expressions also, you can see that sometimes the terms are written in front of the bracket, and at times it's written after the terms inside the bracket, like what I have written here, or what I have on the PowerPoint. Bracket B plus C, bracket and A outside. It's still the same rule that applies like what we have in the first equation. So 70s and receiving students, don't forget, when you're expanding brackets, you're multiplying the terms, or each term inside the bracket by the term outside the bracket. Our key phrase for today, expanding brackets. To the receiving teacher, our next lesson topic, materials needed for the particular lesson, worksheets, A4 papers, pen or pencil, and rulers. This is for lesson number 105. With that, 70s and receiving students, we have come to the end of our lesson for today. Thank you very much for your participation.